Jay Bills from Media Spotlight UK, and I'm here with the one and only Isaac Cash Taylor in the building. How are you feeling, sir? Like, being in London. Is this your first time in London, by the way?
Yeah, it's my first time in London.
How are you finding it so far?
Besides the weather, I like it.
I mean, it's picking up a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of sun, but I mean, we are known as Brits to having really bad weather, especially throughout the summer. What's the best bits that you've taken away from, being in London so far? Like, have you had a chance to like trip around a little bit?
Yeah, I went through North London, saw the Jewish community.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Like, how was that for you?
It's real orthodox.
Okay. Did you get to see any other parts of London? So like North, because a lot of people tend to, when they come to the UK, they tend to see like more the touristy stuff, like Central London and stuff like that. But yeah, North London, yeah, okay, that's a good vibe there. Are you looking to try and look at other parts of London after what's after being here?
Oh, absolutely. I plan on looking at almost of everything of London soon as after my fight is over with.
So, I mean, talk to me about your, CFN history and just your boxing history in general, because, you've come up a last fight back in April for CFN. What made you decide? I mean, obviously, we know, your brother Anthony Taylor, as part of the Misfit scene. What made you decide that you wanted to, get involved with the boxing scene?
Well, me and Anthony, we've always had a history of fighting, and he was doing Bellator few years back, and I was doing my amateur career. I had one pro fight back in Mexico, and a few years after that, he brought me to Dubai for CFN, and from there, I just been rocking with him since.
So, I mean, obviously, you've, got into, CFN through Anthony and, exploring like the idea of boxing. Like, what was the trigger point that when you got involved, you was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this?
The fighting part. Once I knew that I was going to be fighting often, I instantly decided that I wanted to do it with CFN, because back in November they had me fighting, and then again in April, and here we are in June.
So, I mean, would we expect that, after your upcoming fight that, you're looking to do more fights in general? Because it seems like now that you've settled into the scene, you've seen what it's about. Like, is that something you want to go continue doing forward?
I mean, absolutely. I like to fight. I like to bring the pain to people inside the ring, and CFN has given me the opportunity to do that.
So, I mean, obviously the influencer scene is like grown huge for the past 2 years, and there's a lot that's been taken out of it, and it's really exciting times, especially like influencer boxing crossing over to professional boxing, looking into influencer boxing. Like, how do you feel like the impact of influencer boxing has made a change to the dynamic of what we see boxing now?
Well, the difference between the two is, influencers, they got to have their respect too, because they're getting inside that square circle. And it's an unforgiving sport, as my pop would say. So much respect to them, because at the end of the day, no man could ever come out of there alive.
And your last fight with Hallow Ham, take me through that, because, I mean, obviously you've had a variety of opponents. Take me through that experience in terms of what you felt throughout that fight week, and how you felt to be more prepared, like in future fights going forward.
Well, for the Halal Ham fight, I wasn't even supposed to fight him at first. I was supposed to fight Aaron Chalmers, but he ended up pulling out. And from there, I didn't even train for that fight. I probably trained for like a good week, and then I was dealing with my own demons. So then from there, come fight night, I mean, I still had a dominant performance, still got the victory, of course, is what I wanted. But had I trained my best and did the full camp, I probably would have knocked him out.
Do you still want that fight with Aaron Chalmers? Because I know he said that he's only looking about another year at this at the very least. Is that something you would want to have in the future, like knowing that you were supposed to have that fight with him?
I mean, that all depends, A lot of people be pulling out. I was supposed to fight Ben Williams back in November, and then he pulled out too. So, I mean, it really all just depends. It all has to make sense. I mean, I'm a fighter at the end of the day. I'll fight whoever.
So I mean, talking briefly about your brother Anthony Taylor, like it just been announced a couple of days ago that KSI will be fighting him and Slim. Knowing that you're brothers, I know you're full support of Anthony Taylor. What do you make of the fight? Because two versus one. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a little silly to have a 2v1. I think KSI is bitten off a little more than he can chew. Fighting Slim, I had seen him fight Salt Poppy and he knocked him out. But I think when he fights Anthony, I think he's going to be in a dog fight, however. And I just think KSI bit off a little more than he could chew.
Because it seems like, I've seen an interview with Slim the other day, and he's not looking to tag Anthony Taylor at any point. Because I don't know the dynamics as far as who will start in the ring. But, I mean, he did credit that they're good at trash talking. But as far as where Slim is concerned, like, he just wants KSI and he doesn't want Anthony Taylor to be involved as part of that. Like, I mean, what do you make of? I mean, it is a bit, it's a unique situation, we'll put it. So, I mean, how do you feel there?
Well, I think Slim ain't got no room to talk. You either deal with it or don't. You can easily just back out and they'll find somebody else. However, a lot of people wrote my brother off on getting his KSI fight, and he worked his ass off to get it. And whether if it's a 1v1 or a 2v1, at the end of the day, my brother will have his hands on KSI the day of the fight.
Because I know that obviously, Slim and Anthony Taylor respectively have been wanting that fight with KSI for ages. And we get that now, but in a unique situation. So, I mean, how do you see that process going? I mean, obviously, I know that, the expectancy for your side is you want Anthony to win. But as far as the dynamics, how do you see it all play out at the, with this unique situation?
I honestly think that whoever goes first, KSI will be drained at the end of the day. If he goes against Slim first, then he's really going to have an off night with my brother. But if he takes my brother first, then he's going to have an off night with Slim. So it's kind of in between of a rock and a hard place.
So, I mean, going back to you now, like, where after your fight, when it happens, where do you continue to go? Are you is there anyone else that you want to call out? Like, I know you're focused at the fighter at hand, but is there like any other opponents that, that you would want to step in the ring with to put that green tick up there?
I'm not quite too sure, but I'll fight anybody that they put me in the ring with. I'll fight them. As long as it's at the weight limit, 175, and I'll fight anybody. I'll fight the Paul Bambas, the Idris Virgos, the Chris Avilas. It doesn't matter to me. I'll fight them all.
And, of course, headlining Chris Cyborg versus Aria Wild. I mean, hearing about that, like, obviously CFN is going leaps and bounds to make this card to be sick as it is, and you're a part of it. So how do you feel in terms of, like, having arguably one of the the best MMA fighters to cross over into boxing and then, coming into CFN?
Well, respect to Chris Cyborg for even taking boxing. We all know her history, her background. She's a world champion in respective companies like the UFC, Bellator, and I think she's going to put on a great show for us.
So, I mean, finally, what do you want to say to your fans out there that are anticipating for your fight, and your future in boxing, and, what can fans expect going forward for you?
Well, to my fans, if I do have Vinny, which is my friends and family, just keep supporting me, keep rocking with me, and we're just going to continue to bless God and thank God for all that he has given us.
Well, I mean, this is going to go off like, without a hitch. It's going to go off. Isaac, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. And I was saying before off camera, I really like your shirt because, yeah, man. I mean, where's the fashion side coming from? And then I'm curious about the tattoos as well because,
I mean, the fashion, I just throw whatever on and make it look good, I guess. And the tattoos, I've always been a fan of tattoos since I was like 10 or 11. I had seen lots of people with like art stuff, and I kind of just fell in love with it. I always knew I was gonna have tattoos.
What's your favorite tattoo out of what you've done so far?
The scripture right here, Jeremiah 29 verse 11.
You want to show it to the camera, like, so people can see?
If they can see it,
Yeah, I'll zoom it in. So
nice scripture. For the plans I have, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. Got calls on me. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We got the fear of God here. I had just got recently, and then prayer hands, couple doves, crosses, rose tattoo. I wouldn't recommend the hand tattoo. They hurt.
yeah, I've heard that there's toes and hand tattoos.
Oh, I'm not getting my toes done. I'm not getting my toes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have any tattoos on me. I can imagine the amount of pain I would have to go through for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good, but it doesn't really. Like on the hand, I would say was the worst one because it's my hands.
Yeah. But you thought that the pain was worth it. Like, what did you have on your hands?
Some rose.
They're just a nice rose on there.
Yeah, I mean, it hurt like hell. It was burning and shit. I didn't like it.
That's just making me not want to go through the pain of getting tattoos. I do want one, but I've always imagined one like up the like left shoulder. But
That's the best part.
yeah, does it not? So it doesn't hurt so much when it's up there, is it?
Because it's a lot of muscle tissue, a lot of meat up there, so you won't really feel it. And depending on who your artist is, this whole sleeve right here took 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that won't be too crazy for me to go through if I were to get like a whole side of it done. I just want one up here, basically.
I mean, it's the only thing that's painful is I would say the shading maybe, and when they wipe your arm hella hard to get the ink off.
Well, I mean, that's a lot to learn in terms of making sure, like, if I get a tattoo, what to prepare for. Because again, I'm not really good with pain. I can deal with it, but it's just like it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, just listen to music while you're getting it done, cause when you hear the needle and stuff go off, that's gonna probably trigger you. But I was watching it the whole entire time when he was doing. I'm just watching him do it, but I don't hear it cause I was listening to a lot of music.
So, interesting question that just came up. Like, what sort of music do you get into when you're in the zone? Like, when you're doing pads and stuff. Like, when you're in the gym. Like, what sort of music do you vibe out to get in the zone?
I listen to a lot of Mozzie, a lot of Chief Keef, anything that really gets me to the mood, something that's gonna hurt somebody. A lot of Rio, the Young OG, RMC Mike. I mean, it just really depends on how I feel. Really, sometimes I listen to gospel music.
Oh wow, a gospel movies. Is that what you grew up listening to for the most part of your childhood?
Nah, not really. But since I've been baptized last year, I've been kind of getting into it.
Okay.
It's kind of soothing.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've learned a lot in terms of that. Okay. I mean, and one final thing that just came to mind, like in terms of between you and Anthony, like who annoys each other more? Because I know there's brother rivalries all the time.
He's annoying, but in a good way. Like I have a bad day, and whatever the case may be, like he will always uplift me. Like it won't be no motivational words or nothing, but he's just that hilarious and annoying at the same time. It cracks a smile on my face. Like I could have the most terrible day. Like I could have lost my left arm or a foot or a pinky toe, and he would make a joke or something, and it would just I would forget about whatever just happened. He's the greatest.
I can imagine like having a supportive brother, especially where he is in the MMA and boxing, arena at this point now. So I mean, I know you must be proud of him for where he's got to.
Oh, absolutely. I love Anthony with all my life. I'm actually lucky to even be brothers to him. Anthony is one of my biggest supporters in my family. And true story, like Anthony's been coming to all of my fights. He's the only family member who's been supporting me and coming to all of my fights. So respect to him, because without him, who knows?
Well, I mean, it'd probably be no secret then that you'll be in his corner for his fight with KSI. Will you be there to support him on that fight?
Oh, absolutely. If it presents itself, because I'm a working man outside of boxing. So if I can be there, I definitely would. But for the meantime, I'm just helping them train and helping them get in shape.
Well, final message to your fans out there. What do you want to tell your fans?
Just keep supporting me, keep rocking with me, and we just gonna go on this roller coaster we call life.
Well, Isaac Cash Taylor in the building. Isaac, such a pleasure to meet you, and yeah, great chatting with you. And I wish you all the best for your boxing journey going forward. And yeah, keep up what you're doing, bro.